So the first thing we are going to do is to draft our pattern. So we are going to take the length of 4.5 by 30 inch. So the 30 inch I divided by 2, which gave us 15. So I'm going to use this half paper now to cut the leather. I'm cutting the leather on 4, so that's the reason why I'm dividing the 30 by 2. But if you can measure the width longer, if you have a bigger paper or cardboard that you can measure it longer, you can measure it longer instead of dividing. Now the 30 inch I'm using is actually my waist circumference. So if you are going to make yours, ensure you use your waist circumference. So the 30 inch is my waist circumference. Or if you're making for a customer, ensure you use the person's waist circumference. So this is me cutting out. Like I said, I made use of 4.5 inch, which is the length. You can decide to make it the length longer than that. So it's not necessarily mean that I must make use of 4.5. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to taper. So from the down part, I take half inch down. Okay, taking half inch down. Just watch what I'm doing. Take half inch down. So this is the edge. Right from there, from the half inch down now, I take it up. So that part there is the top of the belt. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out that part. I can actually decide to leave the belt like that, but it's just a way of creating. It's just creativity though, just to give it this other look. Alright, so the next thing, I'm done with that part. So the next thing I'm going to do is to draft the strap. The strap now is the rope that comes across the front. Okay. So I'm taking 2 inch by 35. 2 inch for the length, 35 inch for the width. Two inch for the length, 35 inch for the width. Just watch closely, you understand better what I'm doing. So I'm still trying to bring out the width, 35 inch. So when I'm done with that, so from top of the paper down, I just measure out 2 inch down to the 35 inch I measured out. So I'm done with that. The next thing I'm going to do is to use my pen and my pencil and ruler now to trace out the line. So trace out the line. So like I said before, when you're making for yourself, ensure you use your waist circumference. I'm using my own waist circumference, which is 30 inch. Then just me cutting out the 2 inch by 35 inch strap. So I'm done cutting out. The next thing I'm going to do now is to make one side 1 inch. Oh, we don't need it to be the same, but there are some belts that you see that the strap are the same, but this part I don't want it to be the same, so I'm going to make one part 1 inch, then the other part 2 inch. So this is it. So I've marked the 1 inch now, so I'm going to draw a line down. Okay, just watch closely. So I'm tapering it now. So when I'm done drawing the line, the next thing I'll do is to trim off the 0.5 excess. 0.5 to one corner and 0.5 to the other part. So I'm taking them out. Just follow the video closely. You understand the tutorial. So I'm trimming off the 0.5 parts. So I'm done trimming it out. Don't worry, when we start sewing the belts, you understand why one part has to be 2 inch, the other part 1 inch. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut. So to place the pattern now on the leather, or whatever leather you want to use, or whatever material you want to use for this practical. So this is a soft leather. Like I said, my waist circumference is 30, so I divided by 2. So the paper is actually half, which is 15. So now I'm cutting the leather on full. So I folded it. So I'll get back my 30 inch. So I have to pin it all, so I won't make mistake. Pin it down so you won't make mistake while cutting. So you need to cut exactly what you see on the paper. So ensure to cut the excesses. While making yours, you can decide to be creative around it. So I'm done trimming, so I'll just remove the pins. Now I'm opening the leather up. Now you can see I've gotten back my 30-inch. So the next thing now is to cut the strap. So I'm placing the paper, but because I don't want to come back and and we need two of this strap, okay, so I have to unpin it right now because I won't want to come back and start cutting another one. So I'll have to fold the leather into two. Fold the leather into two, then place the pattern again to cut the two at once instead of cutting one then come back to cut another one. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. So I pin it down again. The reason why I'm pinning down is because I don't want to make mistake, and the paper is a little bit soft. But when you're making use of a cardboard, you might not need to pin down like this because cardboard is a little bit harder than this paper. The paper is so soft, so I just have to pin it down so it won't move away while I'm cutting out. So I'm done with the pinning now. The next thing now is to cut. Taking my scissors now to cut. So if you're not making use of leather for this project, if you're using an Ankara is very soft, or will I say the material does not have a structure. So I would advise you get an earth from a tailor shop. And this is just like a fabric. Okay, just use iron and stick the SD to the Ankara so it will have a little structure. You can see the leather I'm making use of. I didn't put anything on it because it has a structure on it. So if you're using Ankara, you can get an SD. Just cut the SD the same way you're cutting the belt. Then use your iron to stick it. So I'm done with this thing. So I'm measuring out. That's 1 inch to this part. You can see. Then the other part was 2 inch. So I see they are not equal. 1 inch to one part and 2 inch to the other part. So now I'm removing the pins. So you can see now we have the two straps. Right. So we'll, we'll pick the belt now and hem the edges. So we hem the first part of the edge. Hem the first part of the edge. Then do the same to the other part. Ensure you trim the excesses, the threads there. Then you also hem the other parts of the edge. So in this video, I decided to make use of two machines to sew. This is not the machine I use in sewing my leather, but because because of the way I set my black head, the the presser foot, I lifted it so much that it can't sew something as flat as this. So I decided to use this to sew this. So I'm switching over now because I want to sew a bulky part. Not that it's that bulky, but that machine can be somehow funny. So this is it. So this is me picking one of the strap now. One of the strap. You tuck pleats the belt. Watch. Then using the 2-inch part you place on it. Remember we made one part 2-inch and the other part 1-inch. So it's a 2-inch part that you place on the tip of the belt now to sew, just the way you're seeing in the video. So you sew it, trim the thread out, you can see, top stitch it. So it will be flat. You trim it off, trim this excess thread off. So the same thing you did to that part, you did to this side too. Tuck pleat it the way you're seeing in the video. Just tuck pleat it like this. Pick the 2-inch part of the strap, place on it, the right side facing the right side. Place it like that, pin it down, then sew. You trim off the thread. then top stitch so it will be flat. Then trim up the thread. So you can see the way it looks. So now you're going to pick one part of the strap now, fold it the way you're seeing, fold the edge, then sew down. Sorry, my machine was being a little bit cranky there. So just fold the edge now, sew it down. So like I said before, if you're making for yourself, ensure you make use of your waist circumference, because the measurement I used here, the 30-inch, was my waist circumference. And also, if you're making for a customer, make use of the customer's waist circumference. If you're also making in bulk, ensure you use the front waist circumference 26, 28, 30, 27, 31, and so on. So just trim off the excess thread. And I'll move over to the other parts. You hem it to ensure when you're sewing, do not allow the edges to come out to show at the other part, so your work won't look untidy. Now you see the reason why we left one part 1 inch and the other part 2 inch. See how that part looks tiny? Because that's the part you're going to tie. That's going to move to the front and you will tie at the front. So it's meant to look as tiny as you see in the picture or in the video. But there are some belts that their strap looks big too. So it depends. So this particular tutorial is just a base. So you can decide to check other styles from YouTube and so on. Be creative. So you can see now, it looks like a rope. I tie at the front. Just trim off the threads. Then you move over to the other side. The same thing you did there, you do it to this side too. So when you follow the videos carefully, you'll be able to do your practical. So our belt is getting ready. Okay, you trim it off. Then move over to the other side now. Ensure the edges are not showing at the other part so your work won't be untidy. So if you have any challenge or any question, anything you don't understand, the WhatsApp is open for question. So her belt is ready. And you trim off the threads now. Trim off the excess threads. So these are belts. You're doing for a customer, just fold it that way and put it on an island. So see you in the next video.